We had been in our house for about 12 years or so, in a 3-bedroom house with 3 growing boys. It was getting harder and harder, and we were coming to the realization that our oldest wasn't going to be able to sleep on a top bunk for the duration. So we looked around the neighborhood to find something else, and it just wasn't in the cards. So they're just, if you want certain things, you have to almost build it yourself, which is where we landed.
I was also acutely aware of the neighborhood that we live in, and I wanted to be sure that our home was going to feel like it was of the era. And but on the flip side of that, we wanted a new house.
I didn't call quite 100 builders, but I tend to do a lot of research. So we talked to a lot of friends. We got a lot of names from friends. We didn't go online and search for anything. It was mostly through referrals and recommendations, as well as signs up in the neighborhood.
We were very close with another builder, and Peter said, "Oh, you know what? Why don't I quote on the job?"
I didn't think we were in the snack bracket to be able to hire Cricket Hill, and at the very end of the process he said, "But you didn't give me a shot to bid on it." And we're like, "Oh, you want to bid on it? We think you're too expensive."
I reached out to him and said, "Peter, can you get me some references?" And he said, "Sure, I'll send out an email." And he sent out an email at probably noon, and by 2 p.m. I had 9 people speaking to us about the process and Peter's delivery on that. I think that was really what drove us at the end of the day.
Attention to detail was very important to us. It can make the real difference between a okay house and a great house, and Peter's attention to detail throughout this has been very, very, very good.
What I said to Peter is, I want a Cricket Hill home. I mean, I've seen your product and I want a Cricket Hill home.
I would say he's exceeded our expectations, like no question.
Peter takes things very personally in terms of putting his name on things. And if he walked in and felt something wasn't right, he changed it. He didn't come back to us and sort of try and sweep it under the carpet. He didn't come back to us and say this was going to cost us extra to really bring it to where it should have been. He said, "You know what, this isn't quite right," and stepped up and said, "You know what, we're going to make this right."
We would absolutely recommend Peter and Cricket Hill. His crews are amazing. All the guys that he has at the house, and I say guys because they are always guys, have been fantastic. They are always courteous to our neighbors. They're great with our kids. They're fantastic and respectful of us. They're respectful of our property. You can count on them.
He's very forthright. You get the sense in the first meeting or two that he's a very honest and principled individual.
I wish we had hired our builder earlier in our process. I think they are the one person who knows the end-to-end process better than anybody else, and I think we could have, saved ourselves some aggravation, some frustration, and probably some money by doing it earlier when we were thinking and contemplating and choosing that person, because I think they would have worked with us to get us through some of the hurdles that we had in the early days, and saved us time and money.
Peter's the right guy for that, so we were very lucky, and it's worked out swimmingly well for us.
The whole process has been great. I mean, we have a great rapport with him. I know once the build is done, I'm hoping we can continue our relationship with him. He's become an important part of our lives.